Crunchers! I'm your DJ Chihi, and this is Culture Crunch. Do you have a favorite poem, Crunchers? For me, it's Every Moment is a Flower Bud by Jung Hyun-jo. Every moment is a flower bud, waiting to bloom through my effort. I love this line in particular because it reminds me that there are still so many buds left to bloom in life. On today's Culture Crunch, we're talking about poetry, what makes life a little more beautiful. So, are you ready to get a little poetic? Let's dive right in after our first song. Here's Young Forever by CN Blue.
영원할 것 같던 시간이 지나고 깊은 고요함은 나를 더 가두고 그 침묵들은 날 더 깊은 곳에 빠뜨려 나도 어른이라는 착각 속에 We
Welcome to Brunch Club, where we enjoy meaningful conversations. In today's harsh world, one person has been softening our hearts through poetry, earning the nickname as the Poetry Sommelier. We're joined by Professor Jung Jae-chan from the Department of Korean Language Education at Hanyang University. Professor, welcome! 안녕하십니까, 교수님.
Hello, Brunch Club members. My name is Jung Jae-chan. I'm a professor of poetry and an essayist and someone who shares poetry with the public through media or lectures, something like that.
Oh, yes. Well, welcome. Welcome to Brunch Club and Culture
너무
Crunch.
반가워요.
Thank you so much. 와주셔서 너무 감사하고요. And like I said, he is the poetry expert and an essayist. But looking at his background, your background, you spent almost your whole life in schools. School. So did you ever want to escape that world or rebel a little?
이제 정년 퇴임이 저도 1년 반밖에 남지 않았어요. 그러면 모든 회사원들도 다 정년 퇴임을 하겠죠. 그런데 교사로서 정년 퇴임은 좀 다른 점이 있는 것 같아요.
Ah, okay. So he only has about a year and a half left until his retirement. But retiring as a teacher, being in school, feels a little different from how office workers retire.
왜냐하면 8살 때 학교 들어가서 65세까지 학교 안에만 있었던 거예요.
Wow.
그러니까 거의 한 60년 인생을 다 학교에서만 보냈다.
That is pretty long. So he entered school when he was 8 years old, and he will be in school until 65. So almost 6 decades of time, he was within the boundary of a school.
하지만 학교라는 울타리는 나를 구속하거나 그런 공간이 아니에요. 학교라는 말의 어원을 올라가 보면은 그리스어로는 스콜레, 라틴어로는 스콜라. 이건 다 여유나 한가함을 말하는 거였거든요.
Oh, I see. So a school isn't in fact a boundary that restrains you and brings away your freedom, takes away your freedom. But in Greek and also Latin, skole and skola, it means freedom in fact.
leisure.
Leisure.
아주 한가한 거.
Ah,
그러니까
okay.
어쩌면 학교라고 하는 거는 나를 저 바쁜 일상으로부터 지켜준 거였거든요. 그래서 맨날 노는 게 일이었어요.
So in fact, school was a place that protected his leisure time away from all the busy work life. Okay. Oh, all right. So I guess you don't want to go out of it then. 나가는 것보다 네, 나가고 싶지
계속
않으실
있고
것
싶어요,
같아요.
사실은.
So he wants to keep staying within that boundary. All right. Well, moving on then. Many people, in fact, remember you as the person who delivered poetry lectures that moved engineering students to tears. Now, how did you feel teaching students often seen as logical and emotionally reserved?
제가 있는 학교가 한양대학교라고 우리나라에서 공대로 아주 유명한 학교잖아요.
Right.
그래서 우리 학교를 딱 들어가면 슬로건이 The Engine of Korea 이렇게 돼 있어요.
Okay.
그런데 얼마 전서부터 그 앞에 전치사가 붙습니다. Beyond the Engine of Korea.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so he is currently in Hanyang University, and that university is very famous for the engineering major here in Korea. And the slogan used to be the engine of Korea in front of school. But from some point on, there was another phrase that was added in front of that. That's beyond the engine of Korea.
왜냐하면 자동차에서 가장 심장은 뭐예요? 엔진이죠. 엔진이 좋아야 돼요. 근데 최근에 차 사면서 본넷 열고 이 엔진 내 스타일이야 하면서 그 차 산 적 있어요?
No. So for a car to be good, of course, the heart, the engine has to be very good, right? It has to be sturdy. But you never open up the bonnet of the car and say, oh, the engine is good, right?
그러니까 진짜 명품 차는 Beyond the Engine of. 그래서 the design of Korea, the beauty of Korea, the wheel of Korea, the brake of Korea 잘 나가는 것들이 아니라 오히려 안전하게 막아주고 아름답게 해주고 그걸 저는 문학을 포함한 인문학이라고 생각했어요.
Okay. So for a car to be truly luxurious, it goes beyond all the functions, the engine, design, wheel, whatnot. But what makes it more luxurious is how safe it is, how beautiful it is. And when it comes to the academia, that is what literature and humanities is all about.
그래서 우리 공대 애들은 시도 쓸 줄 아는 공대생으로 만들고 싶었어요.
I see. So our professor wanted to turn the engineering school students into students who can write poems as well. Well, people often say, can poetry, put food on the table, like basically help you earn money? But as someone who's devoted your life to poetry and literature, what do you think about this phrase?
시가 사람들 밥을 먹여주진 않아요. 저는 조금 먹여줬어요.
Okay.
네. 근데 우리가 밥을 굶어서도 죽지만 밥만 먹는다고 사는 건 아니라고들 하잖아요.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. Poetry can't really help put food on the table, but for Professor Chong, it did to a certain point. But it's not just about having food in your life, feeding yourself.
그래서 젊었을 때는 남들의 외적인 풍요가 그렇게 부러웠어요. 좋은 차, 뭐 멋진 집, 예쁜 옷. 근데 나이 드니까 그건 별로 중요하지 않아요.
I see. So when he was young, Professor Chong, external abundance seemed really fancy and something that he envied, like cars, homes, what people wear. But as he grew older, those weren't what was really important.
예, 좀 배부른 소리 같지만 외적인 것들은 모아지더라고요. 조금 살게 되더라고요. 근데 내적인 거는 나중에 이게 헛헛하면 아무걸로도 채울 수가 없어요. 나이 들면 좋은 게 딱 한 가지인데요. 다 같이 못생겨져요.
Okay.
외적인 건 부럽지 않아요.
All right. So Professor Chong said, as you grow older, you get to gain all the external materialistic goods. They increase over time as you age because you're earning more money, whatnot. But if your internal self is empty, then it could leave you feeling very empty and void. But as you grow older, everyone commonly turns ugly, is what Professor Chong said. And he doesn't envy any others like external looks when you're growing old together.
그래서 나이 들면 젊었을 땐 정말 쓸모없다고 생각했던 것들, 예술, 종교, 뭐 시, 낭만, 아름다움, 존경, 뭐 이런 것들이 가장 부족하거든요. 그때 가서야 내가 이런 걸 놓치고 살았구나라고 깨닫는 거죠.
Okay, so as he grows older, when he was young, he thought he was missing out on the arts, religion, like romanticism, poetry, respect, whatnot. He was lacking that when he was young, but he's thinking, oh, this is the important value that he must really fill in life as he grows older. Interesting. And I guess that's what's filled through poems as well. Now let's talk more through keywords today. 키워드로 좀 더 자세한 얘기 나눠볼게요. 그럼 교수님, 첫 번째 키워드 열어주시겠어요? The first keyword is...
따단.
따단! It's carpe diem. Seize the day. So what does this keyword mean to you?
잘 아시다시피 저는 이 단어를 영화 죽은 신의 사회에서 처음 만났어요. 이 영화를 보면 다들 아시겠지만 키팅 선생님이라고 하는 분이 등장하잖아요.
Yes.
그럼 이 웰튼 아카데미에서 막 공부만 하는 그 아이들을 데리고 어느 날은 얘들을 데리고 그 학교에 역사 박물관으로 데려가는 장면이 있습니다.
I remember. So this is actually from the Dead Poets Society, the movie, and the teacher there, Kilting, takes the students within Welton Academy to a history museum.
그러면 그 벽과 복도에 선배들의 사진이 쫙 붙어 있었겠죠. 그러면 그 중에는 아마 미 합중국의 대통령도 있을 법한 그런 학교고요. 무슨 노벨상 수상자도 있을 거고 이른바 성공한 사람들의 사진들이 다 있었을 거 아니겠어요. 그럼 아이들은 아 나도 저런 사람이 돼야지 아마 그러면서 바라보고 있었을 거예요.
Right. So, in one of the walls, murals of the museum, there were pictures of the seniors of that academy, and some of them included former presidents, even Nobel laureates, and successful people. And the students would have thought, looking at those images, oh, I want to be like them one day.
근데 키팅 선생님이 갑자기 이런 말을 해요. 자, 저 중에서 다 성공한 사람들인데 저 중에서 너네들의 그 젊어 어렸을 때의 그 푸른 꿈을 평생에 실천한 사람은 과연 몇이나 될까? 아니, 저들은 다 지금 과연 어디에 가 있을까? 이렇게 얘기를 합니다.
Oh, but then at that very moment, the teacher asks the students, how many of these people do you think are actually living, acting their words, living to their words, the things that they have dreamed of when they were young, and where do you think they are right now, is the question he asked.
그러면 100년, 200년 전 선배들이 다 어디가 있겠어요? 다 죽었지.
Right.
그래서 키팅은 얘기합니다. 한낱 수소나 뿌리에 비료로 썩고 마는 것을. 그래서 저 선배들이 진짜 너네들한테 해주고 싶은 얘기는 따로 있을지 몰라. 공부 열심히 해, 하버드가 성공해. 그런 얘기가 아닐지 몰라. 내가
I
이렇게
see.
수소나 뿌리에 비료로 썩을 줄 알았더라면 난 다른 얘기를 해주고 싶어.
Oh, wow. That's something really touching. So the teacher asked a question that's pretty obvious, you know. All these figures, they were figures from hundreds, 200 years ago. And obviously, they're not living anymore. They have passed away. And they've all turned into just a bit of dirt that will just help a flower grow, perhaps. And so, if they were alive, the things that they would have told these students would have been something different other than study hard.
그래서 정말 선배들이 해주고 싶었던 얘기는 하면서 들려줬던 게 카페 디엠. 정말 선배들은 오히려 카르페 디엠이라고 얘기해 줬을 거다. 그런 거죠.
And at that point, the teacher, Kilting, is saying it would have been carpe diem. That would have been the thing that your seniors would have said to you when they were alive.
근데 영화에서는 카르페 디엠이 Enjoy the days 이렇게 번역이 됐어요. 현재를 즐겨라, 좀 놀아라. 그러니까 많은 사람들이 아 카르페 디엠은 놀라는 거구나. 아니에요.
Right. Well, in the movie, it was translated as enjoy the days, and people thought, oh, it means to just play around, like don't work.
그러니까 이 영화의 맥락에서는 다시는 돌아오지 않을 저 사춘기 나이에 애들이 공부만 하고 있으니까 진짜 카르페 디엠은 Enjoy the days가 맞지. 고등학생인데 공부는 하나도 안 하고 놀고만 있는 애한텐 걔한테 카르페 디엠 뭐예요? 인간아 공부 좀 해라. 그게 또 카르페 디엠이 되는 거죠.
That is so true. So for these students who are only studying really hard in this Walton Academy, to them, carpe diem means to just enjoy the days. But to students who are not studying at all, then it would mean to study and make the most of the day.
그래서 중요한 건 지금 당신의 시간은 어떤 시간입니까? 라는 질문이라고 저는 생각해요. 카르페 디엠의 가장 중요한 의미는 지금이 소중한데 그러면 지금은 당신에게 어떤 시간입니까?
Okay, so the very important question we can get out of this phrase is, what is the current time right now, this moment for you? What meaning and value does it have to you? Here and now is what's very important. All right, well, in one of your books, you wrote, work is life. Too. And these days, many young people want to clearly separate work from life. We call it like 워라벨. But as someone who's devoted yourself to your profession, what do you think of that mindset?
워라벨이라고 흔히들 하는 말 저는 좋아해요. 왜냐하면 그 전에는 워워벨이었어요.
Okay.
워크와 워크 사이 항상 그랬단 말이죠.
Okay.
그런데 워라벨이라고 하는 말이 생기면서부터 저처럼 이렇게 문학을 얘기하는 사람도 뭐 돈도 좀 벌 수 있게 되고 저한테는 참 좋은 말이에요.
Okay. So Professor Chong likes that work-life balance phrase. personally, because before that, it was only work, work. Like the relationship between work and work, there was no balance with life. But because there's an importance towards work-life balance, for someone like Professor Chung, who lives off poetries and humanities, it's good for him personally.
하지만 그럼에도 불구하고 워라벨이라고 하는 말은 전제의 문제가 있어요. 워크와 라이프의 밸런스라 그랬으니까 워크는 라이프가 아니라고 하는 전제를 깔고 있는 거예요.
But there's a very important prerequisite here in work-life balance. Work is not part of life is a prerequisite in this phrase.
그런데 우리 인생은 워크가 대부분이고 라이프 조금이거든요. 그럼 워크가 불행하면 워크가 내 인생이 아니라면 의미가 없어요. 워크도 라이프고 라이프도 라이프예요. 그래서
okay.
진정한 워라벨은 워크도 사랑하고 끝나고 나서 저녁이 있는 삶도 즐기는 게 그게 진정한 워라벨이지. 이거는 나를 노예로만 만들고 나는 내 인생을 즐길 거야. 그거는 올바른 워라벨이 아니다.
I see. So what Professor Chung said, a true work-life balance is working both work and or loving both work and life, because work takes up almost 80% of your whole life, right? So you have to love your work, not dread it, and love your life as well for that work-life balance to truly work out. Okay.
그러니까 욜로도 마찬가지예요. You only live once. 그거는 맞아요. 근데 그러니까 놀아야 된다? 아니, 그러니까 정말 열심히 살아야 되겠다. 그건 여러분들 선택에 달려 있는 거죠. 까르피디엠이 놀라는 뜻이 아니었던 것처럼 욜로도 즐겨라는 뜻은 아니에요.
Okay. And it's the same with the expression YOLO, you only live once, which is true, but it doesn't mean you have to just play and not work at all. You, in fact, have to put in a lot of time and effort to work hard and enjoy life. It's the way you view this phrase, just like how it's could be different for different people and students viewing that expression carpe diem as well. Okay, well, in the past, Professor, effort was seen as something quite rewarding, but now many young people say the word effort itself feels burdensome or even violent. What kind of comfort or advice do you give students who feel that way?
저희 세대는 하면 된다. 그러고 살았거든요. 이거 정말 우리나라를 성공으로 이끈 비결이기도 하지만 참 무식한 말이기도 하잖아요.
True. So in the past, our older generation, they would say, just do it. You can do it, you know, anything can be done. But it could be a very brutal and violent way of saying it.
그러니까 하면 된다는 말이 아주 희망적일 수도 있는 반면에 아주 부담이 될 수 있는 것도 맞아요. 진실은요. 하면 될 수도 있고 해도 안 될 수도 있는 거예요.
That is so true. I mean, like, it could be hopeful in a way, but also very burdensome, because the truth is, even if you try hard and put in much effort, it might not turn out the way you want it to, and it may. You never know.
그러니까 하면 된다는 말이 언제나 옳은 진실이라고 하는 거에 저는 동의할 수가 없어요. 하지만 언제나 진실인 게 하나 있는데 그건 근데 안 하면 안 된다예요.
That is so true. So he doesn't believe 100% in if you do it, you can achieve something. He doesn't believe in that. But if you don't do it, then you can't achieve anything at all. So you can't not do anything is what he believes in.
그러니까 되는 것만 할래, 안 되는 건 안 할래. 이건 썩 지혜롭진 않아요. 사실은 될 때까지 해보는 게 더 중요하고요. 그래서 되면 좋고 안 돼도 그 경험이 소중하다는 거죠.
Okay, so try until you can make something happen, and even if it doesn't happen the way you want it to, then it's okay. The experience is what matters. All right?
될 연애만 하실 거예요? 안 될 연애도 해보고 그래서 되면 좋고 안 되면 안 되는구나. 그래도 아름다운 사랑이었잖아요. 인생도 그렇다.
Okay. And it's the same with romantic relationships. Would you only, be in relationships that work out? No, right? Being in relationships, this and that relationship, it will all be meaningful and valuable to you. And it will just add up in life. life. And that's what life is all about. C'est la vie. Well, Professor, at this point, I want to ask you, do you enjoy music as well? 음악도 좋아하시나요, 교수님?
매우 좋아하죠.
오.
시랑 음악은 친구예요.
Oh, poetry and music are friends. He is definitely a big lover of music. Then please introduce the song you chose for us today.
시인의 마을이라고 하는 정태춘 가수가 부른 곡입니다.
Oh, okay. So it's titled 시인의 마을 by 정태춘, Poets The Village. Why did you choose this song?
대학교 때 이 노래 부르면 좀 많이 먹혔어요.
먹혔다고요? Okay. So back in university, he would sing this song, and it made him a little popular among people, friends. Okay, so let's take a listen to this very song together, which made Professor Chung popular amongst girls in his university days. We'll continue the talk right after this song, 시인의 마을, Poets the Village by 정태춘. Stay tuned.
창문을 열고 내다봐요. 저 높은 곳에 우뚝 걸린 깃발 벌럭이며 당신의 텅 빈 가슴으로 불어오는 더운 열기에 세찬 바람 살며시 눈 감고 들어봐요. 먼 대지 위를 달리는 사나운 말처럼 당신의 고요한 가슴으로 닥쳐오는 숨가쁜 벗들의 말발굽 소리. 누가 내게 손수건 한 장 던져주리요. 내 작은 가슴에 얹어주리요. 누가 내게 탈춤의 장단을 쳐주리요. 그 장단에 춤추게 하리요. 나는 고독의 친구, 방황의 친구, 상념 끊기지 않는 번민의 시인이라도 좋겠소. 나는 일몰의 고갯길을 넘어가는 고행의 방랑자처럼 하늘에 빗긴 노을 바라보며 시내 마을에 밤이 오는 소리를 들을 때요. 우산을 접고 비 맞아봐요. 하늘은 더욱 가까운 곳으로 다가와서 당신의 그늘진 마음에 빗뿌리는 젖은 대기에 애틋한 웃음. 누가 내게 다가와서 말 건네주리요. 내 작은 손 잡아주리요. 누가 내 운명의 길동무 돼주리요. 어린 시인의 벗 돼주리요. 나는 고독의 친구, 방황의 친구, 상념 끊기지 않는 번민의 시인이라도 좋겠소. 나는
We're back on Brunch Club after listening to the song 시인의 마을 Poets the Village, a recommendation, and this was by Jung Tae-chun, and a recommendation by our professor Jung Jae-chan. And in our YouTube comments, we asked you to write your favorite poems, Crunchers. And Benny, you said, oh, probably for me, No Man is an Island by John Donne. Oh, okay. So it's about how people are not alone in this world, right, Benny? Okay, what a very humanity-related poem, I should say. Okay. And CYFG5SF has left a comment as well saying, I can imagine him playing guitar and singing this song when he was a college student. You're right. 실제로 그렇게 하셨나요, 교수님? 기타 치면서.
문을 열고 내다 봐요 이러면서.
Wow, that's how you sung. And it definitely would have been really popular among ladies back then. All right. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for that little verse, Professor. I can imagine. Now let's move on to the second keyword. 이제 두 번째 키워드 열어보도록 하겠습니다. 제가 열어볼게요. It's care. So what meaning does this second keyword have for you?
요즘 우리나라에서 아주 핫한 드라마 중에 모자무사라고 하는 게 있잖아요.
Yes.
그 6화 최근에 나온 건데 거기 보게 되면 이 감정이 뭐지? 자폭하고 싶은 심정인데 그런 거였어요. 근데 알고 봤더니 그건 도와줘라는 뜻이었다는 거예요. 도와줘. 이 말을 사람들이 못 하고 살아요.
Very deep. So recently, there's a really popular Korean drama titled We Are All Trying Here. It's on the Netflix as well. And this keyword is actually related to the 6th episode that Professor Chung has watched recently. It talks about how you want to just give up and just burn everything down, but it actually means the key message is to ask for help, like help me. And that's something that we these days aren't able to say easily.
제가 어릴 때 좋아했던 드라마가 타잔이라고 하는 게 있었어요. 그럼 이 타잔이 진짜 슈퍼맨 같은 거죠. 뭐 악어도 이길 수 있고 최고의 강자인데 딱 타잔도 어찌할 수 없는 순간이 있어요. 그게 뭐였을 것 같아요?
뭐였을까요? Okay, so your favorite drama series was Tarzan, and he was like Superman. He would kill the crocodile, whatnot. But there was one thing that even Tarzan couldn't defeat. What
그건
was it?
그가 늪에 빠질 때예요. 늪에 빠지면 아무리 자기가 노력해도 나올 수가 없어요. 그리고 더 공포스러웠던 거는 어린 시절에 오히려 나오려고 애를 쓰면 쓸수록 더 깊이 빠져드는 거였어요. 가만히 있으면 그나마 서서히 가라앉는데 벗어나려고 막 노력할수록 더 빨리 빠지고 마는 거였어요.
That is
저한테는 그게
so true.
공포였어요.
Okay, so to Professor Chong, when he was watching it, Tarzan, when he was in the swamp, that's when he couldn't come out himself. If you just stay there still, then you wouldn't go any deeper. But if you struggle to come out, you would only go deeper. And that was what Professor Chong feared the most watching it.
그러면 그때 타잔이 어떻게 살아났냐면 그가 데리고 다니던 치타라고 하는 원숭이가 나무에 동아줄을 감아가지고 그 밧줄을 던져주면 타잔도 그걸 잡고 나왔던 거예요. 그러니까 우리 인생에서 늪에 빠졌을 땐 도와줄 사람이 있어야 돼요.
Wow, what a message. So how Tarzan came out of that swamp is he had his monkey friend called Cheetah, and it would tie a rope on the tree and throw it to Tarzan and pull him out of the swamp. So what this means is when we're in the swamp of our lives, we need someone else's help, someone else's hand to get out of that swamp.
그러니까 우리 사회가 이 지구가 식량이 부족해서 굶어 죽는 사람이 있는 것도 아니잖아요. 가장 풍요로운 인간세에 살고 있는데 그러면 누군가를 돌봐주고 누군가랑 쉐어하고 누구를 도와주면 사실은 다 살 수 있는 세상이에요. 그 돌봄이 부재된 세상. 그래서 키워드로 돌봄을 한번 잡아본 겁니다.
I see. So we're living in the era of abundance right now. We have plenty of food, plenty of everything, materialistic goods, and only if we share and help each other, take care of each other, which is our second keyword, everybody can live well, is what Professor Chung thought. Well, when people think of you, Professor, they naturally think of poetry, of course. During the darkest period of your life, was there a poem that stayed with you?
뭐 인생 시까지는 아닌데 사실은 우리 한국 사람이라면 누구나 교과서를 통해서 배웠던 시가 하나 있어요. 그리고 저도 아주 진부하게 가르쳤던 그런 시인데 어느 날 제가 정말 힘든 시간에 우연히 봤더니 새롭게 눈이 떠졌던 시가 하나 있습니다.
Okay. So there's one poem that we would learn Koreans in the Korean textbooks, and he taught it quite a lot too. And at that darkest moment in life, it came to him a little differently. Okay. Well, could you read it for us then? 교수님이 좋아하시는 그 시 전체 낭독 한번 들어볼 수 있을까요?
예, 이육사의 절정입니다.
Okay, so it's 이육사's 절정 or peak, and our professor will read it for us.
절정. 매운 계절의 채찍에 갈겨 마침내 북방으로 휩쓸려 오다.
Peak. Whipped by severe season, I am whipped north finally.
하늘도 그만 지쳐 끝난 고원. 서리빨 칼날진 그 위에 서다.
World where sky is exhausted and ended, ice columns like blade, I stand on it.
어디다 무릎을 꿇어야 하나. 한 발 제겨 디딜 곳조차 없다.
Where must I kneel? I have even no foothold.
이러매 눈 감아 생각해 볼 밖에 겨울은 강철로 된 무지개인가 보다.
I think with eyes closed, winter may be rainbow made of steel. What's your favorite part from this poem?
이러매 눈 감아 생각해 볼 밖에 겨울은 강철로 된 무지개인가 보다.
So it's the last part where it read, I think with eyes closed, winter may be rainbow made of steel.
이 시는 다 알다시피 한국 사람들은 이육사라고 하는 저항 시인이 일본 제국주의에 저항한 그런 시라고 알려고 있습니다.
That's right. So this is actually a pretty famous poem by 이육사. He fought against the Japanese colonial rule period back then, and he wrote poems like this.
아주 한계 상황에 봉착한 거죠. 아주 꼭대기에서 한 발 제겨 디딜 끝조차 없이 몰렸어요. 그러면 무릎을 꿇고 투항을 하고 싶구나 그래야 될 텐데 그러지도 못했어요.
So at the moment when he was faced with the limits, like standing on the edge of a cliff, he could have surrendered, be on his knees, but he didn't, and he couldn't.
왜냐하면 일제 말기에 되면은 막 집에 있는 이런 거 다 뺏겼단 말이에요. 녹그릇 수저까지 다 빼앗아갔단 말이에요. 너무너무 무서웠겠죠. 그런데 그때 엄청난 턴오버가 벌어지는 겁니다. 이러매 눈 감아 생각해 볼 밖에.
So that part, I think with eyes closed, was a turnover point. During the very end of the colonial era, Japanese colonial era, like everything was taken away from the households. And that very moment, 이육사 was thinking, I think with eyes closed.
눈 뜨면 현실은 무서워요. 그러니까 눈 감아 보는 거예요. 그때 턴오버가 벌어져요. 얘네들 힘 없구나. 이런 것까지 가져갈 정도면 전쟁할 능력이 더 이상 없구나. 이렇게 턴오버가 되더라.
Wow. So he thought with his eyes closed, you know what? They're powerless. They're trying to take everything, even the spoons, the silverware of households. They have no power to win this war, is what 이육사 thought. And it was a turnover moment for him.
그러니까 저도 제 인생에서 어떤 좀 바닥을 치고 나면 무서워. 근데 눈 감아 생각해 보면 더 내려갈 곳이 없겠네. 이게 오히려 희망이 되더라. 늪이 아니라 터널이었구나. 지금 이렇게 깜깜하면 더 이상 깜깜하지는 않을 거야 하는 좀 힘이 생기더라 하는 거였어요.
I see. So this poem helped Professor Chong realized as well at his darkest moment in life that he wasn't in a swamp, but he was only going past a dark tunnel, and there would be an end or the light at the end of the tunnel, and gave him hope.
그러니까 겨울은 무지개인 거예요. 근데 무지개는 건너기에는 위험하잖아요. 그러니까 이육사는 강철로 만들어진 무지개야. 겨울 다면 반드시 봄이 와라고 우리한테 안심을 시켜준
강하게.
거죠.
Oh, I see. And that last verse saying, winter may be rainbow made of steel. So there is definitely a rainbow at the end of winter. But a rainbow, you can't just cross. It's dangerous, right? And however, steel, rainbow made of steel is something that he can cross. And that's a message that 이육사 tried to send across to us.
그러니까 여러분 인생이 지금 겨울인 것 같으면 오히려 희망을 얻으세요. 가을이면 큰일 날 뻔했어. 이제 얼마 안 남았어. 이제 곧 봄이 올 거야. 이렇게
What a
생각하면 될 것 같아요.
positive ending. Yeah. So, crunchers and listeners, if you are thinking your life is in winter right now, thank God it's not autumn because in a moment you will be seeing spring of your life. So, stay hopeful, all right? You will definitely see that light end of the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel. And CYFG 5SF is saying so beautiful to this poem. Well, we're really glad that we were able to share, actually. I'm really happy that Professor Chong shared this beautiful poem by a Korean poet to all of you. And I'm really happy about that. Well, let's move on, Professor. Talking with you today makes me wonder if we've forgotten the emotional richness, because we're too busy with our everyday lives. No matter how harsh the world becomes, what do you think is the last piece of 낭만 or humanity, that sense of emotion that we should never lose?
역시 사랑이죠. 사랑만한 낭만은 없어요. 근데 왜 사랑이 중요하냐면 그거는 나보다 남을 사랑 더 좋아하는 유일한 방법이기 때문에 그래요.
Okay, so he said love is the one and only value that we should never lose because it's the only way of loving someone else other than yourself more.
그런데 그렇게만 그치는 것이 아니라 영화의 대사 중에 이런 게 있습니다. You make me wanna be a better man. 그게 사랑이에요. 사랑하면 나 더 잘 되고 싶어져요. 더 나이스하게 보여주고 싶어지고 더 멋있게 되고 싶어져요. 그러니까 사랑하면 결국은 나한테 그 득이 돌아오는 거죠.
That is so true. This famous line from a movie is, you make me want to be a better man. So if you love the other person, it makes you become a better person as well. I mean, what could be better than this, right?
다만 사랑 그러면 자꾸 남녀 간에 혹은 뭐 그런 이성적인 사랑만 생각하지 마시고 그 폭을 좀 넓혀 보세요. 음악, 문학, 예술, 종교 혹은 타인, 어린이, 노인 그런 사랑으로 낭만을 생각하시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Okay. And think of love as not just a romantic sort of love, but also expand the field a little bit, scope a little bit, love for the arts, religion, the young, the old, whatnot. So expand that value of love to everything around you, basically. All right. Well, shall we move on to the third keyword now then? This is our last keyword. 교수님 마지막 키워드 이제 오픈해 볼까요?
Yeah.
It is 윤슬. It's a Korean word. What meaning does this word have, Professor?
예, 이거는 햇빛이나 이렇게 달빛이 비치면 반짝이는 물결 있잖아요. 잔물결. 그거를 뜻하는 순우리말이라고 알려져 있는데 사실 조금 논쟁은 있어요. 정말 오래전부터 있었던 순우리말인가 하는 데는 이견이 있지만 여하튼 현재 그런 것을 우린 윤슬이라고 부릅니다.
Okay, so 윤슬 is actually a very, very Korean word. It doesn't have any hanja in it. It means shimmering light on water. You know, when you see the water, waves, little waves, and if the sunlight is on top of it reflected, the shining light, the shimmering light you see on top of the waters is what we call yunsul. Although there is a little bit of controversy behind the meaning of it, it still means that used today.
혹시 영화 Perfect Days를 보셨는지 모르겠어요. 일본을 배경으로 한 영화잖아요. 거기서도 이 주인공이 나뭇잎 사이로 반짝이는 그 햇살을 찍습니다. 그걸 코모레비라고 일본말로 그러는데 어쩌면 그거랑 조금 유사하게 생각해 볼 수도 있을 겁니다.
Okay, so if you've seen the movie Perfect Days, which is set in Japan, they have a Japanese phrase or an expression saying komorebi. It means sunlight through the leaves. So when you take a look at the leaves and the sunlight is going through the leaves, like between the leaves, then that's sort of similar to yunsul or the shimmering light on water.
매일 찍어요. 늘 같지만 늘 똑같지도 않아요. 그게 어쩌면 인생인지 몰라요.
Okay. So the main character takes a photo of that very leaves with the light. It may look the same every day, but not quite the same every day. And that is what life is all about.
윤술도 그런 거죠. 그래서 많은 분들이 이 영화를 이른바 소확행이라든가 미니멀리스트였던 삶을 칭송하는 그런 영화로 많이들 이해를 하고 있습니다.
So people often think of this movie as a minimalist movie or a person who enjoys the smallest but certain factors of happiness in life.
하지만 저는 그런 해석과 좀 달라요. 이 영화는 마지막 이게 스포일이 될지 모르겠는데 퍼펙트하지 않아요. 이 사람은 막 울다가 웃다가를 반복하는 것이 라스트 씬이에요. 그게 뭘까?
Yeah, so the last scene, it could be a little bit of a spoiler. So spoiler alert for any of you who want to watch it later. But Professor Chong would like to interpret the movie and the ending especially a little differently because the character at the last scene, it doesn't look so perfect because they smile and cry and smile and cry and repeatedly do that.
저는 오히려 완벽한 날은 없다는 것이 이 영화의 주제가 아닐까? 밝은 거로만 이루어진 좋은 걸로만 이루어진 그런 완벽한 날은 없어요. 어쩌면 울고 웃는 그런 게 반짝이는 거 아니에요? 그게 우리 인생일지 모르겠다. 저는 그렇게 해석하고 싶어요.
Wow. So Professor Chong's interpretation is that there are in fact no perfect days. It can't all be bright. It can't all be good. There are smiling moments, there are frowning moments or crying moments even. And that's what the shimmering of light is all about. And that's what life is all about. Is the interpretation of Professor Chong.
그러니까 윤슬은 늘 밝게만 빛나는 게 아니라 반짝이는 거예요. 반짝이는 물결은 밝음과 어두움이 공존한 상태라서 아름다운 거예요. 내가 그 반짝이는 보면서 아름다운 걸 느끼는 건 그 안에 살아있음과 죽음이 함께 있기 때문이에요.
So when we talk about yunsul, the shimmering light on water, it's not just bright light. There is the dark side as well, right? And because the light and dark coexist, that's what makes the light shimmer and more beautiful. And that's also what life is about, is what Professor Chong said.
그래서 우리 이런 말 하잖아요. All that glitters is not gold. 그런데 대신 금은 항상 빛나기 때문에 아름답진 않아요, 제 눈에.
I see. So not all that glitters isn't gold. Okay, so not everything that's bright or glittering is beautiful in his eyes. All right. Okay, well, other than Perfect Days, the movie, which was about a janitor set in Japan, is there any other sort of poem that has a similar emotional atmosphere? Like, can you gift one poem to our international crunchers?
맹문제 시인의 아름다운 얼굴이라고 하는 시의 첫 연만 읽어드리겠습니다.
Oh, sounds good. So this is A Beautiful Face by Meng Moon-jae, and Professor Chong will read the first 3 lines of the poem for you.
아주 잠깐이었지만 대천 앞바다에서 윤수를 바라보다가 깨달은 일은 아름답게 죽는 것이었다.
For a very brief moment, as I gazed at the shimmering light on the sea of Taechon, I realized what it means to die beautifully.
대천 앞바다에 반짝이는 물결을 봤을 거예요. 근데 이 시인은 갑자기 나 여기서 아름답게 죽어야 되겠어. 이걸 깨달았다는 거예요. 그러니까 이분은 윤수를 보면서 밝은 면만 본 것이 아니라 그 밝았다 어두워졌다 하는 그 어두운 면을 먼저 보신 것 같습니다.
So the person who wrote this poem was in front of Taechon looking at the shimmering light on the sea, but they realized to die beautifully. So what they saw was not the bright part of the shimmering light, but the dark side of the light. Okay.
그런데 이렇게 시작해놓고 그분은 그 윤술이라고 하는 걸 이렇게 썼어요. 소란하되 소란하지 않고 황홀하되 황홀하지 않다고.
And they wrote, it may sound loud, but not loud. It may look very exciting, but not as exciting.
그래서 마지막엔 아까 읽은 시에서 마지막 줄만 바꿉니다. 아주 잠깐이었지만 대천 앞바다에서 윤수를 바라보다 깨달은 일은 아름답게 사는 일이었다.
And the very last verse of this poem changes the last verse that we just read, which was what it means to die beautifully, into what it means to live beautifully while looking at the shimmering light on the waters. Very beautiful.
윤수를 보면서 처음엔 아름답게 죽어야지. 그리고 마지막엔 그래서 아름답게 살아야지. 그렇게 반짝여가는 것이 우리 인생 아닐까.
What a beautiful poem to introduce to our crunchers. So living like that shimmering light is how you can live your life beautifully. And I hope this rang something, it was inspiring for all of you crunchers today. Well, unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye right here. 아쉽게도 마칠 시간입니다, 교수님. But thank you so much for sharing all these great poems. And there are so many others that our crunchers should definitely know about as well. But thank you so much once again.
아니에요. 만나서 반가웠어요. 정말
Us
고맙습니다.
too.
네.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure, and we'll have to sign off with our last song. We'll say goodbye with K의 심정, Heart of a Dog by 산만한 시선, 산만한. Shall we say goodbye together? 같이 인사할까요, 교수님? All right, keep crunching.
난개처럼 짙지도 않고 잘 묶여 있는 개처럼 난 내처럼 울지도 않고 말도 안 하는 애처럼 하나 둘셋 난 개의 심장을 갖고 태어나 멍청한 사람이 되어 노래만 불러대다 죽었네. 난 화목한 가족의 반동분자고 언젠간 사라질 사연. 혁명엔 이렇다 할 약이 없네. 난개